Hey everyone. Today I'm going to be streaming a little project I've been working on for a while. I actually published this like 8 months ago, and the goal is really to get this. This was never really expected to be like a production ready app, and so I think I ended up publishing like a very basic version of the app. But for a lot of people, it hasn't been very usable, and there are a lot of bugs that I'm trying to fix in this app. And so the goal of today's stream is to highlight like a new version of this app, which is more usable, and at the same time also allows people to. I'm not really sure. Like either connect your OpenAI account, like using an OpenAI key, or alternatively, we could set this up so that you you just pay for like credits, and then you'd be able to translate any SRT file into any language. Um, I'm assuming you already know what an SRT file is, but essentially it's like a subtitle file. And so if you play any movie, you would have those subtitles at the bottom, and essentially it's just a bunch of text with timestamps. So the cool part about this little tool that I built here is it uses OpenAI, specifically GPT 3.5, to perform translations, but they're not translations for those specific segments of text, but it actually translates the entire thing as a whole while maintaining the timestamp, so you don't lose any of the timestamps. That's the super cool part, and that's why it's perfect for this sort of application. Now, yeah, I mean the problems unexpectedly, it kind of got a little bit popular. It's got 90 stars now, and I just like I said, I completely ignored this, um, and people logged a bunch of issues. Uh, One guy actually put up a bounty for a working version. Apparently, it's broken. I'm not even sure why. Add new languages doesn't work. Can't install. Can't run. So yeah, mostly been ignored. I want to fix that so that people can actually use it and benefit from it. And I think there are a bunch of packages already that kind of let you do this, but this was early on. I was really trying to experiment with AI projects, and so I just built it over the course of I think like one day or a weekend, and just really just pushed it out to just not keep it to myself. Anyway, enough rambling. So the goal from today would be essentially maintain the same sort of setup that we had here, which is, you'll have some sort of screen where, you're asked to, um, I don't know, drop SRT file. And then once you drop your SRT file, we'll ask you for some details. I already have the Figma. Okay, so we'll ask you for the target language that you want. And so you can pick from a drop down, which language you'd like to translate it to. And I think right now, I don't remember exactly, but I think we only support a couple of languages. It probably would be a good idea to add a bunch more. Yeah, just these languages. So we can definitely add a bunch more. It's literally, that's the beauty of using AI is you don't have to worry about any of this. Like, you want to add a language, you literally just type in the new language that you want to add. Just add it to the languages array we have here. So anyway, we'll add a bunch more languages. So more languages. Um, what else are we gonna do? So more languages, and then so a big bug that we had when running this was, and you'll see this in the issues as well, like people saying it doesn't work, and the reason it doesn't work is because GPT 3.5, which we were using here, has a max token length of 4096 tokens. And obviously, most SRTs actually exceed this length. This length, this 4,000 word. Actually, it's more like, yeah, I think it's less than 4,000 words, because a word is typically like one and a half, maybe two tokens, possibly longer depending on the word. So it's more than 4,000 words. The thing breaks. You can't really benefit from it. And so the solution here would be to either use GPT-4 um, which supports, if I recall correctly, 128K tokens. So we can actually use this without figuring out how to do like segmentation logic, where you break up the text into like segments and then translate each of those individually using its own call to the OpenAI endpoints. Alternatively, you can still use, 3.5, GPT 3.5. I think it's actually sufficient for this sort of purpose, but we need to figure out like segmentation, how to break it up. Definitely possible. We'll need to figure out like which approach we're gonna use. So GPT 3.5 plus segmentation. Um, what else do we need to do? Mm, I think that's the I think that's the whole thing. I don't know that there's anything else that we need to do. Um, yeah, it's probably enough to get started. And yeah, it's a little bit. That's exactly the problem. This is exactly what I was talking about. So anyway, not sure what this is about. An encoding, decoding problem. Hmm, yeah, I don't know what that is. Anyway, cool. I think we've got enough to sort of get started. So as far as like the plan for today, we're going to need to add more languages, GPT, fix the token problems, and then maybe improve the user experience a little bit. I kind of feel like, okay, this is all right, but it'd be nice if it was like um, if we had, I guess, a bit more of a landing page. So, obviously another big one is add. I mean, I think right now people are using this because there's actually no way for them to use this app with their own keys, and the keys that we're using are limited to 44,096 tokens. So maybe allow them a way to use their own OpenAI key, or add like Stripe billing. I wonder what that would look like actually. Let's sketch this out. Let's see, if we're to add Stripe billing, again, you'd probably have a landing page that looks, something like drop your SRT, and then you could have obviously like a title, and then maybe at the bottom you'd have like features, so like a proper landing page, um, and then you could have like three features here, and then yeah, I think that's probably enough. Um, and once you drop your SRT, the next step would ask you for your details. So target language. Okay. To get your target language, and then you'd add credits. And when you click on add credits, you get redirected to Stripe checkout, and um, I mean you can pay for each of them individually, or alternatively, you could like create a customer and just pay for it like every time you. Yeah, I think that would make more sense. It's like every time you translate a file, then you would pay. And then, like you can decide, exactly what it would be, but maybe $1 per hour, for instance, something like that. Yeah. I wonder how much that would cost, like in terms of an hour. I mean, we'd need to estimate like SRT. So, let's see, movies. Let's download a sample SRT. Okay, open subtitles. Movies. I guess any movie will do. All right, the Marvels. So download. Okay. So essentially, the what I'm trying to do is so token estimator. Okay. Mm-hmm. Download. Okay. So you can see over here that this this is going to go up to about an hour 11 minutes. Okay. You can see, I mean, the SRT format is pretty simple to understand. It just tells you from and to, right? So we just go up to like 1 hour, and um, we're just going to take all of this text and then paste it inside here. Try something shorter. Yeah, the other thing is like you wanna get rid of the timestamps since those we're not going to use. I mean, that's obviously going to impact like the length. So let me just select them all. God, this is going to take forever. All right, so maybe this is enough for like testing this out. Oh, great. Cool. So get rid of all of that. Yeah, so now we have only the text. And I'll assume that this is for 20 minutes. So this is for 20 minutes. We go over here. All right, that's 20 minutes is 2,000 tokens. And so for an hour, we're talking about 6,000 tokens. And then obviously you're going to translate it to another language. And so the cost, OpenAI cost estimator. There's got to be some sort of cost estimator. Okay, $3, 1,000 executions. Okay, $3 for 1,000 executions. We're probably going to be in the neighborhood of like 3 executions per hour. So yeah, I guess it's decent. And then obviously you need to consider that you're not going to be receiving a dollar when you bill someone a dollar. There's going to be Stripe fees involved, and so I think the net that you probably end up with is maybe 50 cents. And then so from the 50 cents, Let's assume, yeah, you probably get like 47 cents. Mm, I mean, you can even get away with using GPT-4 Turbo or 32K. Like that would be more than enough, right? Then you just need one execution. We'll probably do that. Cool. 36 cents. It's not cheap. Mm, what do you say? GPT-4 Turbo Beta. 128K. Wow. Yeah, that's what you want. GPT-4 Turbo Beta, and it's pretty cheap. We're just going to use that. It would not make sense to use anything else. Cool. This is awesome. Nice. Right, so coming back to this, let's figure out what we're going to do. Ba, ba, ba. Right, so we'll charge a dollar an hour, and then you go to start checkout, you come back, and when you come back, it's just going to show a message that says, um, we're going to stream the response so you can actually show it translating in real time. You could show some sort of progress bar since you already have the length, something like that. And then you could also show the text itself. And it'll just show as like a stream below that. I guess that's gonna be fine. Uh, yeah, that's it. Like, and then obviously once the file is done, um, cool. Yeah, I think that's it. Cool. So now to move this into Figma, just so we can modify it and get it ready for prime time. Just make sure we got something crystal clear, clean, usable. Uh, choose your SRT file. All right, so we could just move this here. Uh, yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about this. Um, yeah, so what I'm thinking is like the font I don't really like. Maybe use something more straightforward, like enter, extra bold. Cool. Um, yeah, I don't know about the image either. So make this 3, give it a bit of color. So maybe add this. I mean, typically I would design these for mobile, But obviously, in this case, I don't think it would make a lot of sense to focus on the mobile use case since most people are probably going to use it on desktop, right? Yeah, it looks nice. And this needs more spacing, maybe 150%. Space that out. I don't like the extra bold. Um, and then maybe instead of this, we could use like a gradient with some more fun colors. Yeah, let's drop that image. Again, we're going to change this to enter. I actually don't like this. Don't like the colors. Maybe make it green. Yeah, it looks nicer. And flip it. Yeah. And then maybe you could just give it a stroke. Give it a stroke. That sounds wrong. Okay, just make it more obvious that you're supposed to drop a file, and I think using this dash format makes it even more obvious. Okay, so that's going to be our button. I don't know if I like the color. All right, and then so we said there's going to be there's going to be like a features down there. I think I remember like seeing Tailwind UI. They have templates you can use, like super cool templates you can use uh, for a landing page. Or maybe there's overkill. Like you can use their components as well. They have this new catalyst thing, feature sections. Yeah, it looks sick. Probably something like this. Just tiny icons. I mean, even I can manage that. Oh, this looks beautiful. Yeah, this could work. Like, essentially, like we would just have, we would show the screen after this, which is where you select your language to make it obvious that, you can translate to any language. What are the features going to be? Let's see. Um, so X languages essentially will allow you to translate between, this could be like 100 languages or something. What other features? Instant GPT-4, which is, this is kind of the future, but the benefit to you is that you get, state-of-the-art translation, human level accuracy. And I guess you need to mention pricing as well somewhere. So you need to do pricing $1 an hour. Yeah. And this is going to be like pay as you go, right? Cool. Yeah. So you could actually use just, something simple like this. Yeah. What font is this, by the way? Enter. Okay. Nice. Yeah, that worked perfectly. And we could probably use like the same color scheme. So I think I have it loaded up here, so you can search for like green, uh, personal colors. I thought I had I thought I had. I think there's a plugin. Mm. I thought I had a plugin which loaded the colors. Huh, I guess not. Whatever. Anyway, so I want to actually make progress instead of sitting and fiddle around with the colors. Maybe what we need to get to is like a functional solution for us to figure out like how to do um, everything else. So let's go ahead and pull that in. I'm gonna open up my terminal here. You can see if you provide it with the marvels, it'll ask you to select. Okay, you select the target language. So let's say we're going to translate it to French. Yeah, that's not going to work. All right, so let's select French, translate. That's going to fail. It says error during translation. Oh, interesting. Okay. So let's see what's going on here. You're an experienced semantic translator. That's the secret sauce right here, right? The prompt itself. Um, I had to work so hard to get this to work. Interleave the pipe segment separator in the response. Um, that's a really smart part, which is, essentially we take the original file and just pull out the text, so ignore the timestamps, and connect them using this pipe operator. And then we ask it to do a semantic translation. So not a translation for specific words, so just sort of swap out like the words, but the actual meaning. And so once it does the translation, at that point it would switch it back. It would do the opposite, which is split it up based on this segment operator, and then return the same timestamps that we had before, and then stream that back as an SRT file. So a lot of that is just the logic. A lot of this is really just the logic for stripping the SRT, retrieving the translation itself, and then streaming the response back. That was fun. That was a fun little technical challenge. Anyway, I think a lot of the stuff we're going to be doing today is just so the first thing would be swapping out this for um, the GPT-4 Turbo, which I think you need to make sure that you have access to. I'm just going to open it on the other screen because I don't want to accidentally expose my API keys. But just give me a sec here while I check it out. hmm 1 second. All right, so bringing back the left screen here. Yeah, so the model that we want is GPT-4 1106. Let's see. Um, yeah, this is the one that we need. GPT-4 1106 preview. So let's go ahead and put that in. And max tokens can now go up to context windows 128K, but what's the maximum output? Oh, okay. We're still not going to be able to use it because if you have a maximum output of 4,000 tokens, you're still going to have to break it up. So it's not enough that you have input because the input is going to match the output. So this completely throws out like the original plan, and and yeah, we're essentially going to have to figure out like how to do the splitting logic. So you split the initial SRT into buckets of say 2,000 tokens each, and then you would perform the translation by chunk. So you chunk it up and then perform the translation by chunk, connect back all of the streams, and then um, that's going to be okay. That's going to be interesting. Like, okay, let's take a look at the code again. So when you call translate, um, what's going on here? Let's see. Okay, so it gets the content, the language, and then timestamps on the text content is the result of the strip SRT. Okay, so we'll need to change this to split it up based on token size. And since you can expect the input language to be anything, you can't just estimate. Because I know, for example, that Arabic text uses up way more tokens per character than English. So we need some sort of token estimator because it's going to be highly dependent on the input language that you're using. And you're not restricting the input language to English. It could be any language. So translate from any language to any language. Man, that's going to be a sick feature. Like, you should actually add that to the feature list here. And so um, from, oh, from or to any language. My writing is horrible. I just noticed. Um, one thing I didn't check when we were getting started is whether the audio on this stream is any good. Uh, I think I forgot to check. Oh dear. I don't think I had the audio. Let me just stop and check. Okay, so the goal now is to figure out how we're going to do the split. And for that, we're going to rely on our trusty AI. So let's see if we can figure this out together. Right now, first thing we're doing is splitting up. We're stripping the SRT, returning a bunch of timestamps and the text content. So I think instead of doing that, what we could do is return text split up. So just do it this way. So strip SRT is just going to return the, maybe we call them segments, right? Okay, so strip SRT is going to return the timestamps and the segments. And then what we want to do is we're going to break up. So now we want to split up segments into groups and have each group fit the token length that we're setting. Now, there are a bunch of scenarios, but we could actually map these up as, input language and then output language. So if you have, let's say, input language English, and then output is going to be Arabic, or do Arabic and then output English. And then this will give you an example. This is an example. So if we limit the input to, let's say, 2048 tokens, then the output is going to go up to 2048 tokens. You're going to have 2048 tokens for the input, and then you're going to be left with 2048 tokens for the output. However, because Arabic uses up way more tokens than English does, this is not going to be enough. This 2048 is not going to be enough. Instead, you'd probably need like 4096 tokens, maybe even more, like probably even more than 4096. So the question is, how are you going to manage that? And then obviously when you have Arabic, so if you're using 2048 tokens here, then you're not going to have an issue here on the flip side. So if you're converting to a language that consumes fewer tokens, you don't have an issue. But if you're converting to a language that consumes more tokens, like Arabic, then you might potentially have an issue over here. So how are you going to resolve that? I don't know. Let's hit the playground and see. I mean, so you can see under translate, we can just use this. And then we have translate the text. Translate this to Arabic. And then you give it the text itself. Okay, so we just need, let's say, the maximum length would be 4096. Uh, yeah, maximum length would be 4096, but you need a 2000 word. Mm-hmm. Okay. So this is an example of a 2000 word article. So we could just paste that in here. And yeah, this will translate to Arabic. 2000 word article. I think you're going to have yeah, you're going to get an error that says you requested 6565 because there's 2469 in the messages, 4096 in the completion. So the 4096 gets split up um, between the input and the output. And obviously, that assumes that you're not consuming any tokens here. So this would have to be like 2040, 2048, but technically it's not going to be 2048 because you're going to get the same error. You requested 4517. Okay, so you're 517 over. Like this would have to be 1500. Okay, interesting. Now the problem is this is not going to be complete, right? Because you already have way longer input than you have output. So this is going to be way too long. Wonder how far. Yeah, see, it just stops. It stops randomly. And so what you actually need to do is you're not gonna segment it into um, I guess you don't even need like strict SRT right now. I guess you probably need that later. Um, I think what you could do is just take uh, just take the content and then split it by /n/n. Yeah, you could do that later. And then you combine put together a group of segments that are, let's say, 1,000 tokens in length. And if it's 1,000 tokens in length, let's say it's 1,000 tokens in English. So 1,000 is 1,000 tokens in English. could end up being, um, let's say, 2,000 tokens in Arabic to properly translate the entire thing, right? Um, so that's okay. There was a token estimator. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, tokenizer. So if we were to go to the app, kind of see how many tokens that was. Yeah, it's 1,500 tokens. 1,500 tokens for how many words? 355 words, 2,000 characters. So 2,000 characters uses up 1,500 tokens. Wow. 355 words, 1,500 tokens. That's 5 tokens per word. Wow, that's crazy. 5 tokens per word in Arabic. Versus if you've provided 355 words in English, roughly speaking, that's probably going to be this much. Yeah, a bit more. Let's say here. Yeah, it's 355 words. How many tokens is that? 434. See? It's 1,500 over 434. Wow. It's 3.5 times. That's worse. This would be more like 3,500 tokens in Arabic. Assuming the same number of words, like you translate and you get the same number of words. So it's actually important that you limit this as much as like your output plus input plus prompt equals 4096 tokens. Um, your prompt, how many, the length of your prompt. So let's say the prompt is going to be, I don't know what the prompt length is. Let's see. Like if we increase this, it'll tell you, right? 2469 messages and 4096 in the completion. Okay, 2469, of which the text itself is how long? 31. 2469 minus 2431. That's going to be like 37. Okay, so let's say the prompt is 50 tokens. Whatever. So prompt is 50 tokens. And then output equals 3.5 times input. Okay, so input's going to be, so this is going to be a simple equation. You're going to have output, which is 3.5 times input plus input equals 4046. So 4046 over 4.5, 899, 900 tokens. That's what you want. This is for the worst case scenario, which is English going to Arabic. I don't know if there's any other language that's worse than Arabic in terms of like how many tokens it consumes. Maybe Chinese. Like this is 900 tokens. So if you wanted only 900 tokens, right? Um, let's go to here and say, all right, we only want 900 tokens. We probably get until here. Get the 900 tokens. Cool. We're at exactly 900 tokens. This gives you exactly 900 tokens. So we go over here and then we say 900 tokens, and then we say the output is going to be 3.5 times the input. So 3.5 times 900 is 3150. So let's just set this to 3150. Submit. This should work fine. Like we should get a complete output, no issues whatsoever. I'm also going to try converting this into, let's say, Chinese or Indian. Chinese and Indian. I think those would be good ones to test out, just kind of get a feel for what the limits are. Once you establish this, token. Oh, interesting. Yeah, probably something I'll check out. All right, cool, cool, cool. So yeah, you can see this is done, and this has 2625. So you're still okay, no problem, still within range. And this looks complete. Um, Using the wrong soap. Yep, the translation is consistent. Cool. So let's say we're going to change this to Chinese and get rid of that. Submit. Cool. I think one other thing we didn't consider is the fact that we're going to be using um, we're going to be interleaving the pipe operator. I don't think it'll matter. How many tokens that is? 1.5. Oh, okay. It's actually less. And then if you were to translate that, and since I don't know Chinese, here to translate that using the wrong soap. Okay, so looks like we're okay. And then if we change this to Indian, okay, just wait for that. Again, the point of all this and the reason we're doing this up front as opposed to later is just make sure that we're not going to bump into issues with different languages. So just make sure that it's working. And if it's working fine, cool, we're great. Take token. Oh, so they have a Node.js. npm take. I think that's the official one. Mm. I don't understand what all this is. I just want a simple way to. Okay. Yeah, that's a useful example that we can use right here. Cool. All right. So I guess we're gonna be fine. We're just gonna need to use tick token. All right, this should be done. Oh, we bumped into the limit here. It's like Indian is worse than Arabic. Oh, it only made it to the wax. Uh-oh. It just made it to waxing problems. It didn't even get to the using the wrong soap bit. Apparently, Indian is even worse in terms of tokenization. So we used up the maximum length, and we still don't have access to. Wow. Okay. Only made it to waxing problems, huh? That's how much? What's the last thing we did? Non-uniform layer of waxing does not look good. Um, yeah, I'm guessing it's this. So you can just go up to here. That's 737. So 3150 over 737 is closer to 4.27. Wow, okay. I'd say 4.5. So you say 4.5 plus input is 5.5. So 4046 over 5.5. 735. Call it 700 tokens, which is English to Indian. Okay. 700 tokens. Okay. Interesting. Cool. Now, I don't know if Indian is worse or not, but it seems like it's going to be close enough. Um, 700 times 4.5 is 3150. So it's going to be 700 times 5.5 total, which is 3850 plus call it the 50 for the tokens for the prompt itself. And then what else is there? I mean, the rest is sort of like, just wiggle room. Cool. All right. Cool. So here we can actually, okay, so first things first, we're gonna need to add, so we're gonna need to add this tick token library here. So npm install. We're using the Pages API? Oh, okay. It's pretty old. Um, I would have thought we'd be using the new router format. Yeah, I think this was before Next 13 was released. Yeah. Anyway, I think it'd be helpful to have um, a lib directory here, right in the top. Okay. And then here we're going to use the same example that you had from over here. And num tokens from string. Okay. Is that going to be async though? Seems like it won't be. Okay. Num tokens from string. So now you should be able to get num tokens from string. And then we can say, no, 700. A total number of tokens supported. Okay. Cool. Max tokens in segment. So now we want to break up segments into um, I downloaded an SRT file yesterday. So maybe you can take a look at that. Yeah, you can see splitting it up by two empty lines is in fact the way to go. That'll give you the segment. And then you can consider just, anything past the first two lines. So the first line is the ID, and the second line is the timestamp. Seems to be the format that we're working with here. Mm, okay. Uh, okay. So you're going to need a method, segment, break into segments by length, and then you're gonna have, okay, and then all right, so let's see if that does it. Yeah, I mean, I could probably do this by hand, but I couldn't be bothered. Return groups. Okay. Tokens from string. Yeah, we're gonna need that. Okay. And that returns a bunch of strings, huh? For const segment of segments. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. Otherwise, group stop push current group, and then current group equals segment and current group token count. Okay, so it's essentially starting a new group. And then, um, yeah, okay. This makes total sense. The only thing is, like, you wouldn't want to consider the entire segment. So find the text portion, which is the segment string without the first two lines. Okay, yeah. All right, cool. So um, for const group of groups, and then here, so groups is actually going to be segments, right? Um, and then here, make call to OpenAI. So we're gonna get the stream. Oh, and then we need to be a bit smart about how we're gonna get the response from the stream and kind of manage um, that part of the process. So it's not gonna be entirely straightforward, but it's pretty clear like how this part is gonna work. We're gonna take a quick break, and then we'll continue.